we were in Barbados for our baby moon, and we brought our laptop. And I remember at the time we had like a Square website, and every single time somebody would hop on as like a viewer, one of us would like run over to the laptop and like try to engage them in the chat. I came on from the beginning. At the time I was working at the fire department as a paramedic firefighter. And so the benefit there was that I was off every 2 out of 3 days. So when I wasn't at the station, I was just doing whatever I could in the business. Didn't really understand what had to be done, but I just figured, let me pick up all the slack that gets in her way so she can inject.
My dad is very big into finances, and he built out an Excel sheet basically to say, if you're going to do it, this is how it's going to run. And in his study of how he saw med spas working in the industry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cameron Hemphill here, your host for Medical Millionaire. Hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into the podcast. Our goal is to give incredible value and insight for practice owners. So if you own a medical aesthetics practice or wellness clinic, every single one of these episodes we create, they're 100% designed for you and to help take your practice to the next level. So guys, today I have two amazing friends on. They're out of Florida, the St. Pete area. They have an amazing medical aesthetics practice. They've been in business for a few years now, and I've gotten to know them extremely well over going to conferences and being a client, and just they're amazing guys. They have a very elevated brand. And so I want to talk to you guys about their story. I'm going to welcome Nick and Nina Traster to the show from Iconcierge Med Spa. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Cam. Thank you so much for having us.
Cam, thanks for having us. It's always good to catch up.
It's a pleasure. I know that I've had Nina on here before, but Nick, this is the first time you've been here.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite on this one.
Of course, dude. Of course. So that brings it up. Like, what? You guys are married. You guys have children. You guys are running this business, entrepreneurs, and I know that creates challenges, and it also creates opportunity. And I know that, Nick, you have different roles in the practice, and I know that, Nina, you do as well. Would you just tell the audience a little bit about your story, your brand, what you guys do on day-to-day, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came on from the beginning. At the time I was working at the fire department as a paramedic firefighter. And so the benefit there was that I was off every 2 out of 3 days. So when I wasn't at the station, I was just doing whatever I could in the business. Didn't really understand what had to be done, but I just figured, let me pick up all the slack that gets in her way so she can inject. So when we first started, she was in family medicine 5 days a week. Nights we were going to the med spa from 6 to 10 in our suite. Weekends I was trading shifts off just so we could do Botox parties every Saturday and Sunday. And then it just kind of picked up from there. I remember you've been along this ride from pretty much the beginning. We hopped on a call, I think 2 months before we went on paternity leave with our daughter to sign up with Growth 99. And that was the time that we really transitioned me into full time. So when it was time to go back to work, it was either hire somebody to run the business that you think you can trust, or make the sacrifice of, hey, let's jump in and do this together and take this awesome ride.
It was amazing, man. I remember that conversation, and you weren't working in the practice yet.
Right. Yeah, I was pretty much working remote, and just, like I said, whatever we could get into. I mean, I remember one story where we were in Barbados for our baby moon, and we brought our laptop. And I remember at the time we had like a Square website, and every single time somebody would hop on as like a viewer, one of us would like run over to the laptop and like try to engage them in the chat.
It's amazing.
And it never stopped, right? It was like, you have to sacrifice if you want this to work 20.
I love it. I love it. And that's what you have to start somewhere, and I think we're all on our own journey and own path. And I think sometimes we can get sidetracked of like tuning into social media and seeing someone else's journey and wanting to copy or mimic that, or being like, hey, I should be there and I'm here. How do we get there? Look, everybody's on their own journey, guys. And so, take it one step at a time. You have to obviously start your practice, build the brand, build the site, whatever works first until you graduate to get to the point and have the finances to invest in more tools, or whatever the case is, right? So Nina, talk to us about that. You had been running the practice before he joined full time, right? Talk to us about your background, your experience. I know that you've obviously been, in the nursing world for many years.
Yeah, so I'm a PA, and I actually was in family medicine. So About 4 years ago, for a little bit over 4 years ago, I created Iconcierge, but it was mainly, I wanted to do it on the side while I was in family medicine to inject, get a little bit into aesthetics. And it started really taking off. I was going after work, 8 to 5 family medicine, then 6 to 10 doing injectables, then doing the weekend 7 to 7s, like making sure I was in the practice working and building that clientele, which is really hard to start. You do have to work to build a clientele. You're coming into a space where there's so many options for injectables, and you're hoping that people are just going to trust you and come to you for injectables, but also still making sure that you're not going to be that bottom dollar brand where you're just racing for the bottom with the lowest prices. So keeping up a normal price, but also bringing in patients was a difficult journey, but definitely working that many hours in the practice, I think really showed my patients how much I was dedicated to practice, but also it built a really good clientele. I think I started doing that in August, and then by December, I had so many clients wanting to come in normal time schedule, not 6 to 10 on Monday, Friday. I had to drop family medicine, go full blown into aesthetics. And that's when it got really busy. I was pregnant at the time. I was pregnant, working 12 hours every day and working on the business. And that's when you start seeing the shift of learning medicine, doing aesthetics, but also running the business side, which in the beginning you can try to juggle, but it gets a little out of hand once you start seeing all the numbers coming in and the budget things happening. And that's honestly when, luckily, when I had my daughter, Nick stepped in and it just allowed it to grow more naturally.
Shoot, that's crazy. I mean, so from August to December, you were running at what, 20,000 RPMs?
It was ridiculous. And I was pregnant. My first pregnancy, I had worst morning sickness ever. But you had to do it. How else would you have it grow? Yeah. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad is from Switzerland. He created a business. He brought it to America, made that business a world brand where he had multiple locations all around the world. And he worked day and night. And that's how I saw it was like, if you want a business to grow, you have to be in that business every hour of the day. Even if you have a family, it's to build that future for the family. So I knew if I wanted it to work, I had to put everything in it.
That's amazing. So for the audience, you guys just hear what she said, right? I mean, you're talking about amazing sacrifice, like, going to your day job. At the end of your day job, you're tired. But you're like, okay, I got to go work on my side hustle. Because I know that as an entrepreneur, you're like, look, eventually this side hustle may get so big that it's going to replace my day job. And it did. And that didn't take you long. Right. But still, it was like, what was that, 5 months? It's like 5 months and being pregnant.
Yeah. So my dad is very big into finances, and he built out an Excel sheet basically to say, if you're going to do it, this is how it's going to run. And in his study of how he saw med spas working in the industry, now, mind you, he just is a very intelligent man, and he found a way to make an Excel sheet of how growth should be. I was supposed to stay in my little suite, which was under 200 square feet, for at least 2 years before I could grow to a second room. Well, within 6 months, we had that one room. Really, it was pushing the limit. I think in April, we ended up getting another room. So then April, I had 2 rooms, so I could do double bookings. And then fast forward a year and a half later, we ended up opening up the 5-room storefront. So it definitely was an evolution.
To say the least. Oh my gosh. And Nick, you joined full-time, was it in that December?
June of 2022.
Okay, so it was after the baby came.
Yeah. So before that, like from the time that she went full-time, basically we used a secondary cell phone as the business line to start. And I knew that she was going to be in the room with patients. So that lived on me. So like, even when I was at work, it's like, okay, I got to get to a quiet spot. If I'm not on a call, like I got to answer this call and try to close this lead.
Yeah.
And then all day, the same thing. When I was off, it didn't matter where I was. I was working out of pocket on that phone, answering leads, converting clients, and just really selling the big picture of what she's able to do in her room.
Yeah.
Granted, she's made it really easy because it doesn't matter what I promised. She hasn't not delivered yet. So
Yeah, I mean,
She does a great job.
100%. Nina just so personable, amazing personality, knows her craft so well. I mean, I'm sure it's almost like every time she sees a patient, it's like therapy for them in a way. I would assume it's like an outlet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me just see if I can visualize this for a second. You were working in the fire department.
Yes.
Leads are coming in through the phone, and you're like running out and taking, hey, Iconcierge Med Spa, this is Nick.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of the times when we go to these conferences, even though there's a lot of the business stuff that's now offered at them, at first, since the business stuff was not really there, I leaned on other forms of business to learn the med spa business.
Amazing.
So when we went to these medical spa conferences, I really dove in on the provider side. So I could learn, having some minimal medical background, learn as much as I could to be educated to really sell on the phone. So I would sit in on these injector panels and have these one-on-one conversations with injectors whenever we could get a chance, and just really pick their brains to gain all of that. And then, of course, talking to her and seeing what she does, what she likes to do. And I mean, it'd be 10 o'clock at night and we're still talking business, midnight. It's like, it just doesn't turn off. So it trained me fairly quickly on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and also Nick was my first medical assistant. So being my medical assistant, he saw everything. Yeah. And he had to also, if I was busy with a patient, there would be questions for another consultation, and he had to jump in and know his stuff, because I think it's worse if your boss is your wife and they're mad at you for saying the wrong thing.
Oh, this is great. I love it. I love it. I mean, I respect the hustle big time. Big time. I have lived in that world, and that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur and create something. You know, you start somewhere, you believe in yourself, you take action. Like taking phone calls in random places. I've done that. I know other entrepreneurs have. And that's what makes this so much fun, right? Is like looking back on where you were, where you are, and where you're going. There's going to be a world in like 3 years, 5 years from now, you'll look back on this podcast, like, remember when we were on that podcast with Cam? Look what we've done today. Like, man, we were just babies then. Yeah. You know, and that's what's so cool about it, is it's just a fun journey and process. And the fact that you did that, you know, and dove into the conferences, and you probably separated, hey, I'm going to go going on these sessions, you go on these sessions, and work together as a team is just, I mean, that's amazing, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the first year we went to Am Spa, we were still in that like balling on a budget phase. And so we just paid for Nina to attend the conference. And I went with her, and I remember afterwards, instead of doing like the parties and the social stuff, like she'd come back with this notebook that was like this thick from the day. And we would just review and go over stuff and bounce ideas and put new systems in place for 6 hours in the hotel room after a full day.
Amazing.
Order room service just so we could really like grind it out and like make the most out of that weekend trip instead of just, whereas now we can make more of those relationships and be more social. But at that time I was like, hey, we're babies here. We need to just be sponges. Totally.
I was there once too, like in going to the conferences. I'd go and learn as much as you possibly can. Obviously still do that now, but it's a little bit different once you've been in the industry for as long as you guys have, you know. But I remember several times where I'd go back and just work on my computer after like being on the exhibit hall for hours and hours. And I feel like it never stops. So I totally get that and respect that. And now it's nice to kind of go and let your hair down a little bit and network a little bit more and say hi to people you haven't seen in so long. Shoot, you guys were just at a conference, at least I saw on social media, and it looks like you were able to connect with Anicia.
Oh yeah, that was in, we actually trained with Dr. Zach Alley, who is amazing. He's from the UK, and at Nicola's Med Spa. So it's always great. We met Anissa actually and became best friends. So she's my conference buddy. So that it's great. And we're doing another conference this weekend. We're going to AMWC, me and Nick. Like it's conference season. So we are always doing conferences because you can never stop learning.
Never stop learning. It's so big. Like I had a episode that we did recently with another couple, and I was talking to them, and they go to a lot of conferences as well. And I'm seeing this theme happen. The practice owners that continuously learn, implement new tech, new marketing strategies, like how to separate yourself from the competition, how to advance your skill set on the clinical side. I see them just like surpassing or almost leaping over other practices. I think some practice owners have been like, I went to a conference, Been there, done that. Cool. I saw it. It's like, look, for the audience, you guys, I would encourage you to continue to go. The networking's unbelievable. The technology's changing. The strategies are changing. And it's kind of a relief to get out of your practice a little bit and like go do something different and come back with new ideas and implement those and continue to march.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I tell everybody, I'll use AmSpa as the example. So the first year we went, like I said, we were brand new in the industry. And we probably, of everything that was there, we might have absorbed like that first 10%. And then the next year we went back, it was like, okay, they might have been, even if they were the same speakers talking on the same topics, we now knew more and we were able to gain that 30, 40% chunk, 50% chunk. And then year 3 and 4, it's like, okay, now you're just like fine tuning your craft. Like so much so that like most of the times, so me personally, I'm really big. If somebody's public speaking, I want to be right in front. I think that that's like when you're on stage and you don't have anybody right up front, it kind of like, it gives you that person to lean on and make eye contact with. So then for me, I use that as the chance to talk to them after. And it's like, okay, 5 minutes while they're walking to the next thing, I might have gotten stuff that they would have never mentioned or that never would even came up. And it's just those little pearls that just make you just so much better.
Yeah, it's like reading a book, it's like, I mean, sometimes you have to read it twice to get all the information out. And I think you pick up so many more details and like just deeper information, the more it's like repetitiveness. It's like, if you want to go to the gym and be on a journey to be fit, you can't go once. You got to go several times and be disciplined and accountable. I totally get that. Totally agree. So I want to talk a little bit about branding for a second. You guys have an amazing brand. And I'm curious to know, because I've been on this like data kick big time in the past maybe 2 months. We came out with a very cool benchmark report. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called the Medical Aesthetics and Wellness Marketing Benchmark Report, something like that. But we did a massive survey of all these practices, and it was really interesting to like learn like what they're doing in marketing and branding as competition goes up and is rising. How are you guys positioning yourself as like, what's your value proposition in terms of your branding versus the other practices in St. Pete and Clearwater and around there? Because you guys stand out, right? There is competition around you everywhere, right? But how have you done that? I mean, talk to us about that, because a lot of practices struggle with that.
Right. So I honestly think it goes to like the whole basis of our company. I built the brand as Iconcierge, which is meaning that I want the patient to have that full like encompassing visit, right? So every time I have a patient, they get 100% of my attention. So the consultation, the whole process is different than most med spas. I take them back. I'm the one doing the photos. I'm the one doing the consultation. I'm talking to the patient, but also I know the patient. I know their family history. I know everything about them. So it becomes more one-on-one. But also the entire visit is like that. So they get the anatomy, they get the education, they're part of the treatment plan. They're making the decisions for your treatment plan. It is just that customized approach that doesn't end after the visit. After they leave, I personally am the one texting them, seeing how they're doing the follow-ups. And then when they come back in, it's like, I don't have to read a chart to remember what I did. They are in my memory as someone that I just saw. I know everything about them and they feel that. And I know that with most of my patients, when they come in, we feel like we're friends. We get along with everything, but we also get down to the anatomy education and have the perfect treatment plan in place. I do think also being the person that goes out and travels and does all the trainings, we do bring a different type of methodology when we do techniques, which does stand out when you have other people just doing on-label treatments.
Yeah. And I mean, totally. You have like amazing background, testimonials, Google reviews out the, like, I don't know what your count is at this point, but you guys are reputable, you're credible. Like you've nailed the marketing aspect of like, hey, here's our brand. Here's our like top tier providers. Here's where we're located. By the way, here's what, don't take it from us, take it from what these guys are saying about us, our patients and people that have come in here. So you've built that up organically for such a long period of time that it's pretty easy. I mean, in a way, for someone like, let's say a lead comes in, a phone call, a new patient, potential patient, to have that conversation, right? It's like, well, how do you approach that, Nick or Nina, whoever's doing it now?
So
if someone calls in, they're like, hey, I'm interested. Do you offer this service? How do you
Yeah. Thank God now we have amazing that answers the phone, so I can step back from that and think of more of like a bird's eye view approach to a lot of the business stuff. But yeah, they've all been really well trained, including myself, in credentialing Nina. And I think credentialing is the biggest thing that you can differentiate between pricing off of the service that you give. So for us, we've been, and you hear it a lot from the people that have grown the same style that we've grown. You've gone from a single room suite, and I like to kind of call it like scaling with intention. So because we scaled with intention, we haven't really looked for like that quick fix. Like you said with the gym, like nothing's going to make you in better shape tomorrow, but you have to build a system that will be sustainable. So we do treatment plans. When those leads call, Nina gets credentialed. Our consultation process is longer. We typically book extra times, and we'll have strategically double book Nina's time slots to where patients aren't waiting. But if you come in for a consult, and normally what she does is if you want 100 things done, she's going to have you dip your toes first, because she calls it like dating. Like, let's go on a first date and build a base. You come back in 2 weeks from your talks touch up for your follow-up, you love it, let's move forward. And so with that, on your consult, we build in enough time so you can get some treatment done during that day. Because when we were doing this, we thought personally, like, what do we hate about businesses that we go see? Well, every doctor's office, I hate waiting. So from your time indoor till the time you see a provider is typically less than 5 minutes. And most of the time, they're the ones greeting you at the door, giving you a hug, beating our patient care coordinator. And then from there, we wanted to not make you come for a consult and then have to go home and waste 2 days to get treatment. Ooh. So we built enough time to give you treatment in some form that first day, so you leave with a value.
That's super, super amazing. I mean, you nailed it, like, yeah, I mean, going to a doctor and waiting, we don't have time for that. Yeah. And that's like almost a fear. Oh, I don't got to go wait in line and sit in line. The other thing too is like paperwork, right? Like,
oh yeah.
So I had to do the clipboard, you like fill out the stuff. Oh my gosh. I had to do that recently. I had to get surgery on my finger, and these, well, they're behind the times.
Yeah, which shout out to we use Boulevard. Shout out to Boulevard. They've simplified that process. We do all of our new patient intake forms and consent forms electronically. So you book an appointment today, you'll get an email within 60 seconds, and they'll have every single form on there. So that way, when you come in, you're already checked in. You already have everything. By the time we bring you back with an iPad, Nina's already reviewed all of your paperwork. So we're not wasting time going over the same thing.
So the minute I get there, it's like this amazing experience from when I walk in. I know it's world-class. It looks absolutely beautiful, stunning. You have your process, and then I get to see a provider right away. And then we get down to the plan, and then I actually do get a treatment. And then I'm scheduled to probably come back to actually facilitate my journey. So like that, I mean, there you go. I mean, it's an experience. If I'm just trying to sum it up in my head, right? I'm like, yeah, if I go to Iconcierge Med Spa, I'm getting an experience of a fast, elevated treatment by a reputable provider in a beautiful facility, and I'm getting treated fast, and I'm going to be put on a journey to fulfill my confidence boost.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know how Nina does it. Sometimes it's like she warps time inside of these appointments, because the girls will be like, Nina, you don't have time to add pedio threads today to this appointment. Like, you got another one coming in 5 minutes. And somehow she finishes that treatment and she's in that room by the time we've brought them their beverage. She's already in there.
You're talking threads, pedio threads.
Yeah. It's insane.
That's because she freaking worked at a hospital and then went and worked after that for 12 hours. She's like, oh, that's nothing. This is easy now.
Yeah, time management. It's all about time management.
That's unbelievable. So you mentioned Boulevard. I know that you have Growth 99 front facing for the site, obviously SEO, and this is obviously no shout out to Growth 99 at all, not to pitch them, but I think talk about tech stack for a second, because that leads into patient experience. When someone searches you on the internet or calls you, or word of mouth referral or social or whatever, they land on the site, and that site needs to be showcasing your value proposition, your brand, your credentials. It needs to be easy to use, or else I'm gone. It needs to be fast, or I'm leaving. I need to be able to book online, which you guys have, and that ties into Boulevard, right? And so it's outside of before I even come to the practice, you've made it so easy.
Yeah. The tech stack is definitely an important part of this, and it really holds two values, right? It holds your patient forward-facing value that you just mentioned, and then your practice back-end value of, okay, this is how we're going to measure our matrix. This is what we're going to see, our retention per provider, our revenue per hour, our lifetime value of the clients, and makes it to where you're not guessing.
Yeah.
And from the front end, the site runs smooth. The booking link with Boulevard, and the widget doesn't make you leave the website, so you're not getting bounced to a new tab.
Huge.
If you need to make a call, we're using Podium for our phone services, which they're great because you start calling, and I don't like being on the phone. So the first thing it says is, if you want to take this to text, press any key. And you press a key, and we're texting you back within 3 seconds and starting a conversation. And then,
how many of those happen, Nick? Like when they push like text?
A lot, more than 70%. Yeah, we've cut down our phone time by probably 60% of phone calls that have tied up our front desk on the phone because of the tech of switching to text.
Unbelievable. It's interesting. Like I had an issue with a real estate property that I own, not to get off track, but you go to the internet and I do a search like plumbers near me, for example. I don't want to call them. I want to text them. I think that's the world that we are entering, is this like, look, I don't really want to text. In fact, when my phone, I get a lot of phone calls from like random numbers. I don't know what list I'm on, but that thing rings and I never, ever pick it up unless you're in my phone. It's weird. So like, okay, that was an interesting stat to hear. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I can just text, and then you can text back and forth. Right. And they got the auto response in there, and I know they have some cool AI stuff. So then so you got Growth 99, Boulevard, Podium for texting and phones. And then I think offline you're talking like Repeat MD is part of that stack too, right?
Yeah. So Repeat MD for the patient side of of that. And that's really been, to kind of piggyback on it, our biggest like front facing want is, how do we value our customers that we already have in our practice? Like, I want to get the most and drive the most value to them versus like new leads. So like right now with Nina's existing schedule, 85% of her schedule has been previously booked clients.
Amazing.
We're booking new clients out months, to where if you're looking for a consultation, chances are you're probably going to choose to go somewhere else, because you're not going to wait 3 months for a consult. So, but and then with that, we've kind of scaled our internal practice the same way. So when we've brought on new technology and devices, one of the forms with Boulevard is, the first form you get is an interest form. And one side will give you all of the treatments that you're interested in. The other side will give you all the symptoms. Once a month, I'll go through those and see like, okay, what symptoms are people looking to treat that we don't have? And then that's my survey of clients. So then from there, I'll reach out to them and say, hey, if we brought on this technology that treated X, Y, and Z, would you be interested? And once we get enough people that want that service, we start finding the device that's going to work for that, or the treatment. And typically within a week, it's in the practice.
Love that. I literally had a podcast episode. It was like 2 days ago. And we were talking about surveying our base. And it was this exact thing. I'm like, look, I think it's kind of funny that practice owners think that they get sold a device. I think, the intent as well from whoever's selling the device, it does, save and it produces a result and you can make money on it, right? But shouldn't you activate your base to see if it makes sense for them first before you spend potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars on a device?
Yeah, the first device we brought on was the Optimus from InMode, the Morpheus machine that had multiple modalities. And we brought it on because Nina was referring out patients to one of our good friends. And she's like, hey, I've been referring these people out 2, 3, 4 times a week. These are treatments that have a huge profit and cost. What do you think about bringing this on?
Yeah.
If we didn't have that, it's like, holy crap, we're bringing on a machine that's basically another house mortgage. How are we going to pay for this? And that's where I think we've been successful. Is Nina's always been really big at like putting her head essentially in the sand and being like, hey, I'm going to dig myself out of this hole. And I don't care what the outside noise looks like because I'm doing it my way. And so with that, we weren't looking at another practice saying, oh, well, they're successful because they have this machine or because they do this treatment. And she just built us organically. And that's what's allowed us to really scale with not taking on any outside debt and just operating the way that we've been operating.
Scaling with intention. Not to mention that you guys were hit with like double hurricanes in the past.
Yeah, we're currently rebuilding 2 homes from floods. Nina's new car flooded. But luckily, office didn't flood. That was our one wish, was that the office didn't flood.
One nice thing that happened is we found out we were pregnant during that. So there was a blessing in it.
Yeah, and we did.
Do you have a name picked out?
We do. So it's a baby girl, and it's going to be Isabella Noel.
Isabella Noel, how beautiful. That's amazing.
Right.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I'm talking, man, the resilience that you guys have is impressive. I'm glad it didn't hit home base. I'm glad.
Right. Well, that's what I said. The biggest thing was it's okay to take our homes and it's okay to take our cars, but don't take my new med spa, my 5-bedroom med spa that we actually lived in for 2 weeks when we had no electricity with Milton, right? Yeah.
Jeez. My gosh. Yeah. Don't take the moneymaker, please. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm in Florida as well. And I thought that Helene was coming right for us. And shoot, I evacuated. I'm way west of you guys. And we evacuated. So that was super unfortunate. Well, I know that you guys are super busy. And I know that we started a little bit late because we were having so much fun offline. And Nina, you have a patient that's coming up very soon. But before I let you go, because I know how quick you are from what Nick tells me of being able to maneuver fast, you guys built out this new med spa. And we were talking offline. Talk us through like treatment plans. What's in the future for you guys? Because you talked about a training facility going to 16 rooms and another 2,500 feet. Like, this is big stuff.
So the nice thing, what Nick was kind of getting into too, is that with having our treatment plans all set out, I make sure that when we bring something on, it's something that's going to benefit the patient. So now we have these 5 treatment rooms. I am right now triple booking. So obviously we need the extra space, but I also want to bring in wellness because I've had patients continuously ask me for, let's just say, weight loss or peptide therapy or IV therapy. And so needing the space, we actually luckily had next door. They were just moving out. So we went in and we started doing the build out there because what we're going to do, the growth for Iconcierge is to be full body wellness. So I do have a background in family medicine. I would like to have it be, you come in, you have a treatment plan not only for your face and for your body, but it's also for internal, right? Have them feel good from the inside and the outside. So that means we're going to probably start having a lot more wellness options. We're going to bring in a lot more providers. So I'll have my normal aesthetics. I'm going to have a laser room. I'll have 2 SD rooms, but then we'll have this space that we currently are in will be the complete wellness side only, which will make it better for all our members too, to have the option for IV therapy, for peptides, weight loss, and then also doing like saunas, infrared saunas, polar plunges, just so our bodies are having every aspect of aesthetics.
Love that. Okay.
Hyperbaric chamber, yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, I love that. That's huge. I mean, I've been to aesthetics practices where you can do the wellness and the aesthetics on like GLP-1s and injectables and lasers, but not the cold plunge and the sauna aspect. This is turning into like a facility, like a spa.
Well, it's honestly, I always say I make all my treatment plans on things I want. And I feel like where we are located, there's nothing that does everything and also is luxury, right? Like you can go and pay like a certain amount and go to like a polar plunge place, or you can go to like infrared sauna place. But I want it to be that you come in, it's luxury, you feel comfortable, and you're with us, which is your staff you've been seeing this whole time, but now we're helping you from the inside out. I just feel like that full body approach is becoming more popular. It has always been the concept of Iconcierge was to be full body. So now that we finally see it happening, it's amazing.
That's so cool. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And that's what I love about this space is that there's so many different revenue streams that stand on their own. I mean, there's probably 6 or 7 different 7-figure revenue streams between your typical med spa, laser hair removal by its own, weight loss.
Yep.
Standard weight loss or laser treatments, and then you can put them all into one space and just make them work well together. So,
well, what user, if you will, or patient doesn't want that experience? Like, if I had a one-stop shop that had the credibility of providers and the brand and the beautiful facility, like, hello, I'm going, you know? Because I do see these cold plunge places popping up and these like sauna places popping up. And, you know, you're like, this wellness stuff is just taking off. And I'm not talking just GLP-1s, but like PMF mats, like all the podcasters that I like, the social media stuff. Like, do you guys follow Gary Brecka? Gary Brecka? He's really, look him up. He was, it's like 10X Health Systems or something like that. But he, I see him all over. Maybe I like went to his website and I just get hit with his ads. I don't know. But, you know, a lot of even like the UFC guys are like, everybody's getting into this whole, like how, like this biometric, how do I live longer? What supplement? And like, I'm on that bandwagon big time.
Yeah.
Well, have you heard of Brian Johnson? He just had that documentary, the Don't Die documentary on Netflix.
Is he he has the conference coming up? Is he the guy that he's like 50 and he looks like he's 20?
Yeah.
He's floating biological clock by like, dude. I think for all of us going around the earth in 12 months, 12 times, he's only at like 6 months. So he's only aging 6 months every year right now.
He's incredible. He used all his money basically to try to slow down the aging process. And he's doing all the things aesthetic wise. He even said he was doing PRF and Sculptra. Like, I love that he's bringing in aesthetics.
Yep.
And he's showing other people that there are options, which is opening up, honestly, for me, the door for more male patients because they saw that documentary.
Wow. Okay. So I haven't seen that. That's on Netflix. It's called Don't Die. I will definitely watch that. I just got hit with one of his ads. Like, there's a conference in Miami that says Don't Die.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Same guy. Yeah. My wife turned me on to him, and I'm like, he looks crazy a little bit to me. Like,
yeah, if you look up a picture of him and his like 18-year-old son, they look like they're
yes.
Really? Oh my gosh, nuts. Well, guys, this has been fun. It's I mean, just for the audience, like, these two are friends. We've known each other a long time. It's so great to have you guys back on. Congratulations on the amazing new facility and build out and all the cool stuff you're doing, the baby and family and all the fun stuff. I'll see you in a couple months at the AmSpa conference, right? You guys will be there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And if people want to connect with you more, if they want to come see you, if they want to learn about your journey, what's the best place for them to find you?
Well, our Instagram handle is Iconcierge Med Spa, but we also have our website with Growth 99, iconciergemedspa.com, but they can also email us at iconciergemedspa@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Yes. I appreciate it. I want to have you back on. I feel like we could talk for another hour.
Right.
But we'll sync up here in a couple months. And there you guys have it. This is Nick and Nina Traster, Iconcierge Med Spa. Follow them. They know what they're doing. They scale with intention, and they have a phenomenal tech stack that makes things seamless and gives a wonderful patient experience. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Thank you much for joining. Until next time, happy injecting.
Thanks, Cam. Take care.